Han Li's strongest opponent during his early Nascent Soul stage was none other than Master Zhong of the Mulan grasslands. This peerless expert, who chased Han Li for 4 days and 4 nights, forcing him to reveal all his trump cards and nearly exhausting his life essence, possessed an illustrious background, ruthless methods, and terrifying strength that would instill fear in any cultivator of the same level. However, fate often takes unexpected turns. This ruthless individual, who had almost completely crushed Han Li, dramatically became the most ardent Han Li supporter within the Mulan camp. This wondrous twist of fate, from a life-or-death struggle to an unseen assist, not only witnessed Han Li's astonishing growth in dire straits but also sketched a complex and subtly legendary picture of the cultivation world, where strength reigns supreme. Before delving into this legendary clash, it is necessary to clarify the power system of the Mulan mages. The cultivators of the Mulan grassland are divided into 3 distinct tiers based on their cultivation level. The lowest tier, the Grand Masters, corresponding to the early Nascent Soul stage, are the backbone of their respective tribes, bearing the heaviest burdens of combat and defense. The middle tier, the Grand Divine Masters, possessing mid-Nascent Soul cultivation, are the key force determining the outcome of local battles, often commanding operations in their respective areas, and standing at the very top of the Mulan combat system is the title of Divine Master, an honor bestowed only upon late Nascent Soul cultivators. There are only 4 such figures in the entire Mulan grassland: Divine Master Zhong, Divine Master Zhu, Divine Master Bai, and Divine Master Tian. Among them, Divine Master Zhong ranks first among the 4 Divine Masters, his status and strength undoubtedly representing the pinnacle of Mulan's combat power. Divine Master Zhong's appearance is highly deceptive. He often appears in a brocade robe, with a handsome face and a refined, scholarly demeanor, at first glance resembling a well-read and cultured gentleman. However, beneath this humble facade lies extreme arrogance, a haughty nature, and ruthless methods. His 2 most renowned supernatural abilities are enough to strike fear into the hearts of any opponent. The first is the Shrinking Earth technique, which allows him to move with ghostly speed, covering thousands of miles in an instant, its speed comparable to the legendary teleportation technique. The second is his trump card, the Primordial Spirit Splitting technique. This technique can create 2 clones with the same strength as the original body. Once used, it's equivalent to 3 late-stage Nascent Soul cultivators joining forces against an enemy. The power boost not simply additive, but a terrifying geometric increase. With such abilities, Master Zhong's title as the number 1 in Mulan is truly well-deserved. Master Zhong's fateful encounter with Han Li began during the fierce Battle of Huanglong Mountain. At that time, Han Li had just finished exploring the ruins of Tsungkuan Shangren and returned to Tiannan, only to be met with a massive invasion by the Mulan people. Entrusted with a critical mission, he was stationed at the front lines of Huanglong Mountain. Upon arriving on the battlefield, Han Li's astonishing performance stunned everyone present. First, he swiftly and decisively killed a Nascent Soul cultivator from the Yinluo sect. Then, with his keen divine sense, he immediately identified Gu Shuangpu, a Mulan spy lurking within the Tiannan allied forces. This series of actions directly enraged Master Yu, the then holy maiden of Mulan. Master Yu was no ordinary person. Wielding the Yuanming ancient lamp, a sacred artifact inherited from Mulan, her wind attribute's supernatural powers were incredibly swift, even faster than ordinary lightning escape techniques, further enhanced by profound Buddhist secret arts. In her fury, she vowed to personally deal with this arrogant early-stage Nascent Soul cultivator. However, Han Li possessed far more trump cards than Master Yu had anticipated. The golden cloud of gold-devouring insects, a perfect blend of offense and defense, combined with the awe-inspiring divine thunder specifically designed to counter demonic forces, created a formidable and powerful force. Han Li, surprisingly, managed to fight the Saintess Mulan to a standstill, unable to gain the upper hand. This was undoubtedly a humiliation for the proud and arrogant Master Yu. She resolved to hold back no longer, unleashing the full power of the Yuanming ancient lamp, intending to deliver a fatal blow. Unbeknownst to her, all of this seemed to be part of Han Li's plan. He fought and retreated, cleverly luring Master Yu into a prearranged ambush. The lurking silver moon suddenly attacked, joining forces with Han Li in a pincer movement. After a fierce battle, the two actually managed to snatch the Yuanming ancient lamp, this precious treasure, from Master Yu's hands. Just as Han Li was secretly rejoicing over this unexpected gain, a true crisis descended. A figure appeared out of nowhere, tearing through the void. The sheer magnitude of his aura and the weight of his pressure caused the spiritual energy within a radius of dozens of miles to stagnate. The newcomer was none other than Master Zhong. This was the first time in Han Li's cultivation journey that he had so vividly experienced the despairing pressure of a late-stage nascent soul cultivator. Master Zhong's target was clear. He teleported in front of Inu. In desperation, Inu summoned the ancient treasure, the purple blade pouch, intending to trap him. However, faced with an absolute difference in strength, all resistance seemed futile. The purple blade pouch was easily snatched away, along with the flower basket Inu used to hold her magical treasures. Inu herself was severely injured by a single palm strike, coughing up blood and flying backward. The scene before him shook Han Li to his core, instantly realizing that the gap between a late-stage nascent soul cultivator and an ordinary nascent soul cultivator was far deeper than he had imagined, almost a fundamental difference. Seeing that Inu was about to suffer a fatal blow from Master Zhong, Han Li disregarded everything else. His inner power surged wildly into the wind and thunder wings on his back, transforming into a streak of interwoven blue and white lightning, rescuing Inu before Master Zhong could strike again. He then fled for his life without looking back. Han Li's exquisite lightning escape technique, ironically, piqued Master Zhong's interest. For him, this was no longer merely about retrieving treasures for Master Lu or punishing offenders. It was a game of pursuit on a whim. Initially, Han Li attempted to test the limits of the gap between himself and this late-stage grand cultivator using the speed of his wind and thunder wings and the agility of his evil repelling divine lightning. However, Master Zhong gave him no chance to maneuver, directly unleashing his signature technique, the primordial spirit-splitting technique. In an instant, three Master Zhongs, identical in aura, appearance, and strength, formed a triangular formation, sealing off all of Han Li's escaped routes. The immense spiritual pressure, like three invisible mountains, pressed in from all directions. Han Li's last shred of hope was utterly crushed. He immediately abandoned all thoughts of testing and retaliation, focusing all his mind and power on one thing: escape. The ensuing 4 days and 4 nights of life or death pursuit became a breathtakingly classic scene in a record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Han Li pushed his wind and thunder wings to unprecedented limits, the wind and thunder runes on his wings blazing like stars, tearing through the sky. He sometimes used the bursts of evil repelling divine thunder to accelerate, and at other times gritted his teeth and used the blood shadow escape, a technique that consumed his life essence and came at a great cost. He employed various life-saving escape techniques in turn, hoping to create even the slightest distance. Behind him, Master Zhong, like a persistent leech, relied on his unpredictable shrinking earth technique and powerful divine sense capable of covering hundreds of miles, remaining a constant shadow, firmly locking onto his aura. This was an ultimate contest of will, endurance, and foundation. 4 days passed, and Han Li's internal energy was nearly exhausted. The continuous use of blood shadow escape had further depleted his chi and blood, leaving him with a gaunt face. The three figures behind him, like death itself, remained unhurried, as if enjoying the prey's final struggle. In this desperate situation, Han Li made a do-or-die decision. He poured the last remaining power of the evil repelling divine thunder in his dantian, along with the remaining majority of his life essence, into his wind and thunder wings without reservation. A sharp, unprecedented roar echoed across the sky. The light of the wind and thunder wings suddenly surged, and Han Li transformed into a streak of light exceeding his limits, vanishing from his original spot in an instant. When he reappeared, he was already 300 or 400 miles away. This escape, which exhausted his life force, finally allowed him to temporarily break free from the lock-on range of Master Zhong's divine sense. Through this battle, Han Li gained a profound and unforgettable understanding of the terror of high-level cultivators. The difference lay not only in the depth of their magical power and the strength of their supernatural abilities, but also in the coverage of their divine sense, their control over the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and their absolute control over the battle situation. During his escape, he secretly resolved to find the second half of the Great Evolution technique as soon as possible to significantly enhance his divine sense strength. In a sense, Master Zhong's relentless pursuit was like the cruel spur of a strict father, forcing Han Li to confront his shortcomings and pointing the way for his future growth. On the other hand, Master Zhong's situation was quite awkward. As the foremost divine master of the Mulan grasslands, a late-stage nascent soul cultivator, he led 2 avatars in a 4-day, 4-night pursuit of a junior cultivator in the early nascent soul stage, only to have his prey escape right under his nose. If this were to spread, it would undoubtedly be a social disaster for the high-ranking members of the cultivation world, who placed extreme importance on face and prestige. Master Zhong, being a figure of such stature, naturally understood this well. To salvage his reputation and maintain his invincible image, upon returning to the Mulan tribe, he not only didn't conceal the incident but actively changed his rhetoric, launching into a frenzy of praise for Han Li. Addressing the tribe's high-ranking members and various factions, he solemnly declared, "That early-stage nascent soul cultivator from Tianan named Han Li, though not of high cultivation level, possesses unfathomable true combat strength, bizarre supernatural abilities, and formidable magical treasures. His overall strength far surpasses that of ordinary mid-stage nascent soul cultivators, making him a formidable opponent rarely seen in my life." This official endorsement from the highest leader of the opposing camp had an explosive effect. While news of Han Li's slaying of powerful enemies at Huanglong Mountain had already spread throughout Tianan, it remained largely confined to a certain area. Now, even the strongest cultivator in Mulan, Master Zhong, had personally acknowledged that Han Li's strength far surpassed that of a mid-stage nascent soul cultivator. This effectively stamped Han Li's fearsome reputation with the most authoritative seal. In an instant, Han Li's name resounded throughout the Tianan cultivation world, his prestige and influence reaching unprecedented heights. Master Zhong's crisis management efforts to save face inadvertently became Han Li's most powerful boost to his worldwide fame, making him arguably the biggest contributor to his rise to prominence. In the subsequent decisive border war, Master Zhong, as the core commander of Mulan's side, conspired with Masters Zhu, Bai, and Tian, as well as the Yinluo sect, to plan a gambling war aimed at severely crippling Tiannan's high-level combat power. He himself even personally faced Wei Wei, one of Tiannan's 3 greatest cultivators, showcasing his unparalleled prowess as Mulan's #1 cultivator. However, the course of the war unfolded in ways no one anticipated. Han Li's godlike performance in the gambling battle, coupled with the sudden intervention of the Tu tribe, ultimately led to the defeat of the Mulan allied forces. Master Zhong was forced to represent Mulan and sue for peace with the Tianan camp. This battle marked a turning point in Mulan's decline. Later, the fallen demon valley appeared in the mortal realm. Master Zhong, seeking rare spiritual herbs to consolidate his cultivation, ventured into the valley with Master Yu. Unexpectedly, they encountered the earth-shattering event of the Wang brothers of the Ghost Spirit sect unsealing the ancient demon, Blood Flame's main soul. In this moment of crisis, former enemies were forced to set aside their differences, and the Tianan nascent soul cultivators and the Mulan forces formed a temporary alliance to fight the ancient demon. In this battle, Master Zhong, still formidable as ever, displayed unparalleled combat prowess. He and Master Yu joined forces to severely wound the ancient demon Blood Flame, and his divided soul even personally severed one of its heads during the fierce battle, making a significant contribution to the final suppression of the ancient demon. After the battle at Fallen Demon Valley, the once powerful and ruthless Master Zhong, who brought Han Li the deepest sense of crisis and the strongest reverse promotion, gradually faded from the main stage of the original work. He left behind only a legendary story of his relationship with Han Li, from life or death pursuit to becoming his unseen key ally, for later readers to enjoy. His existence was not only a touchstone for testing Han Li's early combat strength, but also, in its unique way, propelled the spread and rise of Han Li's fame, becoming an indispensable and profoundly meaningful footnote in the grand narrative of a record of a mortal's journey to immortality.